I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I needed to talk to somebody. I really didn't know who to call, so I asked my mom who to call. He told me to go to my phone. Your brother and father will call. Give them a ring, they answer. They give you my word, my answer. I call them for help, for some guidance. I really didn't know who to turn to. I needed somebody to work it out. My brother said, open your Bible up. Let's have a discussion and talk it out. Or you can just don't get caught sleeping and get up every Saturday morning and have coffee with the Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
How's everybody doing this morning, man? Welcome to Coffee with the Deacons.
We's here.
We are here, y'all. Keep calm and have coffee with the Deacons. So listen,
keep and stay calm.
Man, listen, it was good to see y'all this morning, man. The first Saturday in February, man. We already in February.
Already, man.
Already in February, y'all. So, man, that's a blessing.
Time moving, man. It's moving deep.
It's moving, man. Time slows down for no man.
No,
right?
No, sir.
Listen, y'all. So, without any further ado, man, I just want to see how everybody's week been going. Busy week for me this week, as always. And so, Deke, I know it's been busy for you as well, man.
Oh, yeah.
And so, hope everybody had a good week and looking forward to going into this next one, man. So, let's get through the day first, right?
Yeah.
Let's get through the day first. So, man, listen up, y'all. We got a topic this morning. It's one of those topics where we've discussed the title before. Stay focused, but this is a different verse though. So, but we talking about staying focused, man, and it's talking about just making sure that we focus on the right priority, right, Deke?
Right, exactly.
Because we can easily get distracted with different things, man. And so, but we want to make sure that we always have that right focus, man. Always have that right focus on the right priorities.
Yeah.
And so,
especially at that particular time and moment. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so, listen, we gonna dig into this thing this morning, man. So, without any further ado, Luke the 10th chapter, verses 38 through 42. Luke the 10th chapter, verses 38 through 42. So it's one of those things. Good morning, Deacon Knox, Sister Anitra, Bridget. Thanks for joining in this morning. Brother Jaleel, thanks for joining in this morning.
Good morning.
Man, appreciate y'all. Let's see.
Morning,
all right.
family.
Yes, sir. And so, man, just thank y'all for joining this morning each week, man. Thank y'all for y'all support, as always. And so, Deke, Luke chapter 10, verse 38 through 42, man. So, I'm just going to go ahead and just read all the verses, Deke, and that way, because it's only 4. So,
that's good.
As Jesus and the disciples, coming from the New Living Translation, by the way, as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, "Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me." But the Lord said to her, "My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her.
That was a polite rebuke, huh?
Yeah, just a little something Jesus put on her,
Yeah, just a little something. It wasn't harsh.
Yeah, it wasn't harsh. It wasn't harsh at all, man.
No, it wasn't harsh at all.
So it sounded like he even did it with love.
He did. He did do it with love.
Yeah, he did it with
love. He did everything
man.
out of love.
That's right. That's right.
That should be a lesson. That's a lesson by itself.
That's it. So let's set the scene here, D. Let's set the scene. So we see Jesus come, and his disciples, right? So we gotta remember they were there too, and so they come into and Martha, man, Martha being hospitable, D. During those times, it was customary to show hospitality to people that come to your home.
Oh yeah.
So they would come in, they would fix them dinner. They would even wash their feet.
Yeah.
And so they would do all these things, man. So Martha, man, says, "Come on in, Jesus, have a seat, Jesus." And then she knew Jesus,
right?
And so, said, "Jesus, have a seat, man." And so, Jesus, I'm getting ready to make you a big old dinner.
Yes, sir. You and your homies.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to make y'all a big old dinner. And so, and all this is going on, man. And Mary said, "Well, listen, man, this is Jesus. I'm going to get ready to sit down and sit in front of him, and I'm going to get the lesson. I'm going to get the word, right?"
Yeah, he's going to teach something.
Yeah. So Martha in the kitchen, y'all follow me, all right? Martha in the kitchen, deep, chopping the onions, dicing up the onions, man, grating the garlic, man, and boiling the water, deep, chopping the greens and all this other stuff, man, making this big old
working, man, working.
She killed the calf, man. She burned it, put it in the stove. Deep, she getting it all together, man. She said she finna make Jesus this big dinner. Pots and pans start to build up, deep, and so and every time, man, while Jesus is teaching, she see Mary just sitting there listening to the word, just to smile and just like, man, I'm getting this good word, man, because I'm just focused right now. And so with Martha, man, she every time she cooking, she slamming another pot down, looking in the room, seeing Mary just sitting there. And Dick, you know what? I'll tell you what, I probably would get upset too.
You think so, Dick? You'd got upset?
She's seeing that she was in there deep slamming counters, man, throwing pots around, man, because she mad. You just say she big mad, Deep. And so because she's doing all this work, and she looking in there, man, just seeing Mary just sitting there, just listening.
Yeah, listen to him teach.
Right. And so, but there goes the thing, though. Let's talk about that. So, though it was customary, right, for them to show hospitality, and she's making this dinner for Jesus because he's Jesus. He was the great teacher. He's the Messiah. So she's doing this, right? She's putting this dinner on, and at the same time, though, the very thing that she's doing to show hospitality is the very thing that's distracting her from being where she needed to be, though.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oftentimes, man, we do the exact same thing, man. We get so distracted by what we could, we would say, well, like say, for instance, let's use as an example, something that we all can relate to. I don't know how many people is listening that actually does things at church, right? Whether you're an usher, whether you're a security, whether you do whatever. But oftentimes, man, a lot of those tasks and duties that we have at church may call for you to be outside of the sanctuary, not necessarily being able to listen to the word, right? And so, but the one thing we got to understand, though, and you say, well, wait a minute. Martha was distracted from the word. She was doing something that she should have been doing, right? Fixing dinner, make sure her guests feel, welcome, right?
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, though, she was being distracted. And so you ask yourself this question. She was distracted from sitting in front of Christ, right? Sitting in front of Christ, getting the word. But at the same time, she was doing something to make him feel welcome.
Right.
So you ask yourself, he's like, well, man, how does that play out? Well, number one thing we got to understand, Deke, is when we're talking about distractions, right? Mm-hmm. So The word distracted, to be unable to concentrate because one's mind is preoccupied. So that's the thing. She was preoccupied. Her mind was distracted, preoccupied because she was focused on the food, trying to get everything, making everything was perfect for Jesus. But at the same time, though, man, she was not able to listen to him. But listen to this, though, Deke. And so I would say this, man, because the first thing I thought about was when you're working in church, you're not always able to listen to the message.
Right.
You're making sure that people feel safe, security, or whatever you usher, or whether you
picking up people in the church van. Or... Froze up, Deep. Looks like we having some
technical difficulties.
Yeah, it froze up for a minute there, Deep.
Deep. Let's see what's going on, man.
You back now. It froze up for a minute, though.
Yeah, y'all. Sorry about that. We have some technical difficulties this morning. So, Deep, but the thing, it looks like I got a weak signal, too. But see, the thing is, though, a lot of times, as we're saying, we have different duties where we're not necessarily able to sit there and listen to the word.
Right.
But at the same time, when we talk about staying focused, we still have that mindset to say, you know what? I'm serving God, right? I'm serving God, and I'm doing, I want to make sure that those who in the church are feeling safe, those that in the church are able to get the word. You can still have that focused mindset, Deep, and to be spiritually involved, right? Spiritually engaged. That's what the word I want to use. Mm-hmm. And still not be able to be in the sanctuary per se, right?
Right.
And so, but that's what Martha failed at. She could have fixed the dinner, but at the same time, and she still could have been spiritually engaged, saying, you know what? I want to make Jesus feel welcome, but at the same time, she still could have been engaged with the word, though.
Oh yeah, if she did it, and if she wouldn't let her physical aspect of doing something overtake the spiritual aspect of it, you know.
Right.
And a lot of times that's what we do. We let the physical duties of what we're doing overtake the spiritual duties of what we should be, or the way we think, you know.
Right.
And a lot of times that'll get in the way, you know. Like when I used to have to drive the church van all the time, and I would be away from Sunday school and different stuff, you know, teachings and different things. Right. But I looked at it like I'm encouraging people to come and hear the word, you know. So I'm preparing them for that, you know, and praying with them and different things, you know, on the way there, and encouraging them to keep up the good work and keep coming, you know. So you gotta stay focused. So you gotta know why you're doing what you're doing, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta realize you're doing it for a greater purpose, not, you know, you can't get caught up in selfish aspects of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with Martha. You froze up again for a minute there.
Yep,
that's what happened with Martha. She got selfish, you know. She got selfish. She got, it looked like she might have been a little jealous, you know.
Right.
Maybe. But I don't know if that was the case or not, but she got distracted. We know that, you know. So she got distracted. So sometimes we can do so much that we do get distracted from the spiritual side of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
We get overloaded with working, and then we work so much. Then after a while, we just start working because that's what we used to do. You know.
Yep. That's it, man.
And we get distracted from the spiritual part of the work.
That's the key thing. You get distracted from the spiritual part because we're so wrapped up in the physical. So it said you have to stay focused when you're doing the Lord's work. That's it, man. It's Deacon Knox. So that's exactly it, man. And we got to remember, man, that we got to always keep our mind spiritually engaged, man. Always got to stay spiritually engaged, because there are going to be times where you may have something to happen to where it may say, you know what, I'm not able to sit there and listen to the word that God gave to the pastor. But at the same time, though, I can still stay spiritually engaged, right? Example, because like last Sunday, we wasn't able to be in the sanctuary, and so we were outside in the vestibule, right? And so, but man, we was able to, man, encourage each other with the word, man, and we wasn't even inside the service, you know what I mean? But that's how you stay engaged. You know, we wasn't talking about the Lions. We weren't talking about the games.
Right.
We were still engaged spiritually. And so therefore we were able to encourage one another, even in the midst of still not being able to hear the word inside.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how you stay spiritually engaged, man. So, because it's so easy to get distracted. You start talking about the Super Bowl and all this other stuff, man. And next thing you know, man, the service is over. You're like, oh man, I was just here.
I didn't get nothing. I didn't get fed nothing this week.
Exactly. I was just here. You know,
I was just here. Yeah.
And that's the key thing, man. But when you stay spiritually engaged, man, because that's the key thing, staying spiritually engaged. Had Martha stayed spiritually engaged, she wouldn't have been able to do the dinner and still sit in front of Jesus, man, and still get the word too. But she was so focused, man. Because think about this, Deke. She lost focus on everything she was doing. So number one, she couldn't even stay focused on fixing the dinner because she was too worried about what Mary was doing.
Yeah,
she couldn't focus on the word. She couldn't even focus on what Jesus was saying because she was
too focused on what Mary was doing. Yep, you're right, Deke. He froze up again, y'all, but he'll be back. Yep, and Mary was focused on the spiritual aspect of Jesus being there, you know, to teach and to preach. You know, she was focused on that, the spiritual part, you know. And Martha, she like I said, she got distracted. She got distracted from all the work she was doing. She was more or less in the physical more than she was the spirit, you know. So that's what that was. Yeah, I told him you was froze up for a minute, Deep.
Yeah, we apologize this morning, y'all. For some reason, it's just acting up today. So, but we gonna power through this thing though. So
we're gonna power through. We're gonna power through. Like I was telling D, Martha was more focused on the physical part of the work than she was the spiritual part, you know.
Yep.
And Mary was more focused on the spiritual part, you know. But God said both of them was good. You just got to be able to put them in priority.
Right,
you know,
right.
So you won't get distracted, you know. Not saying neither one of them was doing a bad work. It's just one was doing it in the spirit and one was doing it in the physical, you know.
Right.
She got distracted from the spirit.
That's it.
Because if she didn't get distracted, if she wasn't distracted, she would have never noticed what Mary was doing.
That's right.
Know? She wouldn't have she wouldn't have focused on that, you know. And she was in the spirit. So that right there, when she said, tell her to come and help me, that right there let Jesus know he knows everything anyway, but he let him know that she was out of the spirit.
That's it. Deacon said, but that's how the enemy works. He wants you to take your mind off of what needs to be done. That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you do, man. He wants you to lose focus on that.
Lose focus on it. Yep.
So Deacon says, don't be so distracted with the work that we lose focus on the purpose.
Man.
And that's kind of what happens, man. We become so distracted with the work because, you know, say you over security or what have you, man, or you over the ushers or you are an usher and you get so wrapped up in what needs to be done that you forget all about why you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why it's so important, man. We cannot get so distracted with the work that we lose focus on the purpose, man. That's oftentimes what happens, right? And so we say that's what happened with Martha, man. She became so distracted with the work that she lost focus on the purpose. And so, man, we have to keep our minds spiritually engaged, and no matter what the work is. I mean, like I said, Deke, if you're cleaning the church, man, guess what, man? You still got to keep your mind spiritually engaged, man. You got to keep your mind spiritually engaged.
Yep. And so like that ushering, man, you sometimes, I know, because I used to be an usher, sometimes I was focused on how I was positioned and how I was standing and how I was dressed, that you lose focus on what you're there for. You're there to greet people, make them feel comfortable before they come in. You know? And you forget about that once you come out the spirit and start looking at the physical. Do I got my white gloves? Am I standing straight? Is my tie crooked? Am I in right position? Is my hand behind my back? You know, all that other stuff that's irrelevant to what the purpose of the usher is, you know.
Right.
To me, you know, that's my opinion. It's just irrelevant. you there to greet people and make them feel welcome once they come through the door.
That's right.
And
Right.
you gotta be smiling. Who wanna come in and see a usher with a tore up face, man? I'm not going in there, man.
Right.
Let's just give me somebody out the pew to come let me in. That one over there smiling and praising God. Give me that one.
Right. Right.
Don't I don't want to be let in by somebody that's going in there. That's that ain't you out of the spirit now.
That's it, man.
That ain't no good greeting. That ain't no usher. I don't know what that is, but they need to they've been distracted by something. So
right. That's it. That's it.
They've been distracted. So Satan used Christians. He used them all the time.
That's right.
He used them all the time, man. What better way to fool somebody than with a Christian, But if you're in the spirit, you can't be fooled. So.
Right. And so the one thing about that, man, and I look at the scripture and it says, but Martha was distracted by the big thing she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. So when I looked at that, man, she said it was unfair. So the thing with that is, man, she was so angry that she couldn't even really think straight because
yeah.
So to have something unfair is to say that we didn't have equal choice, right?
Right.
She says, well, I had to go do this. And she was able to go do this. Nope. They had a choice. She could have easily just went and sat in front of Jesus too.
Yeah.
But she chose to make that. She chose to do all this other stuff, right? That's why Jesus said, you worry about all this other stuff, man. But Mary in the King James verse says she hath chosen the good part. So, so she chosen the good part. And so he said, you had an opportunity to sit before me too, but you decided to do all this other stuff. So
right. I didn't ask you for nothing to eat.
So, but even though that was customary.
Oh yeah, it was customary.
But like you said, she could have still been spiritually engaged, making that dinner, and you know what I'm saying. She still could have been spiritually engaged making that dinner for Jesus, but she got so distracted with just doing that she couldn't focus on nothing else. And so that's where the problem comes in at.
Yeah, so, she got distracted.
Yep. So, like I said, you can get so distracted, man. Like I said, with the work that you do at the church, but not be spiritually engaged. You froze up too,
man.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, Deep. Yep, it's easy to get distracted, especially when you multitasking. When you doing more than one thing in the church, it's easy to get distracted. Deep done left us again, but he'll be back. Yeah, but it's easy to get distracted. And that's what Martha did. She was doing so much in the kitchen, she got distracted from the work that really needed to be done spiritually. She lost focus on why she was doing it and who she was doing it for. So, and it's easy to do that when you're doing a whole lot. It's easy to get distracted and discouraged. Deep done left, y'all. We still here. He'll be back though. Yeah, so it's easy to get distracted, and that's what Martha did. She got distracted from the work that needed to be done. She had a choice to do what she wanted to do. She chose to cook them a big meal, but then she lost focus as it went on because she looked in there, kept looking in there and looking in there, and seeing Mary in there just sitting listening to Jesus teaching, and she felt some kind of way about it, some type of way about it, and that's what happened. That's what happened. A lot of times we focus on what other people doing instead of doing what we came to do, staying focused on what God sent us to do, so yeah, but we got some technical difficulties. Deacon Smith should be back in a minute. Until then, we're gonna stay focused. This is how the enemy distracts us. This right here. Sometimes it comes through different situations, to cause us to get distracted. So This is a perfect point right here. Don't be distracted because Deacon Smith is not in here with me. It is coffee with the deacons, you know. So there you go. So don't get distracted. I was just telling them don't get distracted because Deke ain't in, you know.
Man,
Stay focused. Stay focused. He'll be back.
this is crazy, man. Probably I had to go for my phone, man. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. That's all right. You back now. So
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So yeah. So we can't get distracted, you know.
Nope.
And always trying to distract us, you know. Not blaming this on the enemy, it's technical difficulties, but hey, it still could be a distraction, you know. Have to stay focused on what we here for. We here to encourage and be encouraged, you know. So we have to stay focused on that. Because trust me,